My first guest this week comes to us via satellite from New York City. Mr. Harp Sangha is the CEO of Douglas Lake Minerals Incorporated. Their stock symbol's DLKM. Harp, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Don, for having me.
Now, Harp, Douglas Lake Minerals describes itself as a company which has made a strategic decision to focus on two highly developed prospective gold properties, the recently purchased Handini Gold Project and the Makuvia Alluvial Gold Project. Can you give us a general overview of the company, please?
Yeah, I certainly can. Let me first of all start by telling you about the alluvial gold property that we have called the Makuvia property, named after the vendor of the property. That property was acquired in 2008. We spent $1 million in acquisition costs, close to $3 million in exploration costs, and soon after determining that there was a feasible resource on the property, we elected to farm the property out to a third party. It's a company called Ruby Creek Resources. They're based in New York City. They'll assume all development costs, and Douglas Lake will retain a 25% carried interest. We are hoping that Ruby Creek will be in production sometime in Q3, Q4 this year, or possibly the first quarter of 2012. And with that, the company will start seeing positive cash flow from its 25% carried interest in that property.
You know, of course, as you well know, Harp, one of the oldest sayings in the gold business is the best place to look for gold is someplace close to where gold has already been found. Would this adage apply to your properties?
Well, Don, that's absolutely true. You know, I've talked a little bit about the Makuvia alluvial property, but really the blue sky with Douglas Lake is going to come from this new acquisition we made in the Handini district of Tanzania. We acquired 4 prospecting licenses totaling about 800 square kilometers, and they're contiguous to a recent discovery by a Canadian mining company called Canaco Resources. Canaco currently has about a $1.1 billion market cap, and their discovery is exactly at the border of the Douglas Lake ground and the Canaco ground. We certainly believe that the deposit that Canaco has is shared with the Douglas Lake ground.
Now, of course, as the world has been going through tough economic times, Harp, gold prices have risen dramatically, and let's face it, many analysts are only seeing future increases. Would you say this is just about the best time to be in the gold business?
Well, I certainly can't think of any better time than right now. I mean, with the printing presses all running at overtime pace in the European Union, in the United States, you know, there's a big financial crisis worldwide, and there's a flight to safety, and I think historically gold has been that safe haven that investors have sought, and we are in the sweet spot right now.
Again, the company is Douglas Lake Minerals. DLKM is their stock symbol. For more information, you can call us toll-free from anywhere in the world, 888-259-4449. Now, Harp, the company issued a press release last week. There were some pretty promising results. Tell us about that.
Well, that goes back to one of your points, Don, regarding to, you know, when you're looking for gold, look where other gold has been found. These results were from some surface sampling and some trenching sampling right adjacent to where the Canaco discovery is. So that just gives us more confidence that we're in the right spot. And again, to use your analogy, where there's gold, there'll be other sources of gold.
Now, I know you're very proud, Harp, of a recent appointment as your Vice President of Exploration, a gentleman by the name of Craig Alfred. Can you tell us about Craig's background and expertise?
Well, Craig is quite an accomplished individual, and we're lucky to have him. I've known Craig for, you know, half a dozen years, and he's worked for some of the largest miners in the world. Most recently, he was the head of overseas exploration and acquisitions for Zijin Mining from China, and they're the largest gold miner in China. He's also worked for Teck and Noranda, and, you know, he's worked in close to 30 different countries, and I think about the only continent Craig has not worked in is Antarctica, and so it truly is a real find for us to have Craig join the Douglas Lake team.
Let's talk a little bit about the political climate in Tanzania, where, of course, you're operating. Is that a friendly and conducive climate to your operations?
Extremely friendly. It's mining friendly. The Mining Act is one that's based on modern principles of law, and the government is very welcoming to foreign companies to invest in the mining sector. I think it's the second or third largest contributor to the annual treasury.
Well, now, Harp, you know, I always am fascinated by the gold business. We've talked to a lot of gold companies in the last 15 years, but people unfamiliar with the gold business may be interested in knowing what happens to gold once it's extracted. Where do you sell it?
Well, we sell it, we don't sell it right now, but when we are producing, we'll be selling it to various refiners. There's refiners based in South Africa, in Europe, in Perth, Australia, in Canada, the U.S., and generally once the gold is sent to the refiners, they make it into the gold bars, and then they sell it to commercial banks, reserve banks of various countries, other mints. For example, the U.S. Mint would buy it to produce buffalo coins, and jewelers, as jewelry is still the #1 use of gold.
Now, of course, with the Handini and the Makuvial projects, I know you're very busy with those, but does the company have other acquisitions that you'll be exploring? Or are you going to concentrate wholly on the two current projects?
Well, our focus for the next 12 months, at least, is going to be to develop the Handini project and create value for all of our loyal shareholders and make them money along the way with the management and the vendors of the property, and give everybody some sort of hedge against some of the currency risks that they face.
Well, Harp, why don't you tell us why this is a good time right now for folks to take a closer look at Douglas Lake Minerals?
Well, I think again, I keep going back to your point, Don, about where gold is discovered. There's more gold to be found, and luckily we have this land that's joining a world-class discovery that Canaco Resources had discovered. So the alpha testing, the beta testing has already been done by Canaco Resources, and a lot of the evidence that there's gold there is quite clear, and I think by taking a shot with a purchase of Douglas Lake's equity could provide great upside for any investor.
Again, Douglas Lake Minerals Incorporated, DLKM is their stock symbol. Harp, we're initiating coverage of the company this week. Be following you for the next several months. Looking forward to more updates from you as this goes along. Thanks so much for joining us on the program.
Well, Don, you're certainly welcome, and I'd just like to add one thing in closing. We are an American company, and I'm proud to say we're an American company, and we're making a difference in Africa through employing local people as well as investing American dollars there.
Well said, Harp. Thank you very much again. And now